Okay, great. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me share my video here. All right, let's see. People are coming in still. So these mastermind meetings, I'll just go ahead and start it off. Say welcome. My name is Michael Reed, and those of you guys who know me as the podcast host of Process Server Daily is my first podcast I started. Then we went into working on the Mighty Mike Show, which is all about now it's going into real estate. I just got a lot of things going on. But what I wanted to do with this 10-week mastermind was to take the 10 elements that I think every single process server needs to know in order to build a successful business. So those of you guys that haven't attended so far, I would encourage you to go look at Mighty Website Builder. Of course, we have our website, but on our YouTube channel, there's I'm putting all of the previous sessions on our YouTube channel. And once you get to our YouTube channel, you can actually just look for the playlist called 10-Week Process Server Mastermind. And so long after this is done, you can go back, share it with people. It's all free content. Okay. So again, it is sponsored by Mighty Website Builder. And of course, that's my business, my company. And we have a weekly podcast you will see here later today where I interview top marketing professionals as we review your websites, mainly legal support professionals. So as a process server who has like pounded the pavement in my history, I built my process serving company, Process Server Daily, up from the ground. And I just, I really just hustled. Okay. And so feel free to ask me any questions about process serving. Of course, today's meeting is all about skip tracing. We're going to dive in, and Valerie's supposed to attend here today if she has a moment. Valerie, are you on the call already? Let me see my participants. Some people are named Assistant 2 and Mr. Neat.
Yep.
So I just want to say welcome. One of the things that we do in the mastermind generally is we'll go through, let me stop share, see if this works, see if I can come back to it later. One of the things we do in the mastermind is we go around, and anybody who is on, has their video turned on, we allow them to introduce themselves. So now is the time where you turn your video off if you do not want to introduce yourself. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and start. We'll start at the top there. And we're going to go around. It is a mastermind. So the idea is that we get to know each other. And you, those of you who weren't in the mastermind that I had before, essentially we had about 20 people max on these meetings, and we all got to know each other really well. And I see some of them are on here today too. So great to have you guys back. So let's go ahead and start with, I think that's Leisha. Leisha, let's see here. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, sorry. My name is Leisha Foth. I'm a licensed private investigator, a registered process server, notary public, and just trying to build my business.
Awesome. Welcome, Leisha. I appreciate you coming on. Excuse me. Yeah, definitely good to have so many professionals here. We got Joanne Thompson.
Would you everybody, I'm new to the business. I have submitted my application and all required documents, and I'm just waiting to hear back from the state. They've been a little slow lately, so hopefully I'll hear any day now.
Hey, Joanne, what state are you in?
Florida.
Oh, perfect. So we do have people from all over the country, California. Sometimes we'll have some people from Australia. I got a lot of mates over there, so you just never know. All right, so let's see. Next one here is, it says Nancy, but he's not a Nancy.
Can you hear me, Mike, this time?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's a little broken up, but yeah.
Nancy's behind me. I don't know if my mother's here, but this is, I think, when I've been here before, of course, J. Lawrence Smith is my name. I'm here, for those who are new. I think I was here a couple of times. Did you have one 3 weeks before? Or I don't know if there was one that was missed, or anyway, I've missed a couple. Or anyway, we're on week 7 now. My name is Jay Smith. It may even come up as Lawrence Smith. I have done process serving before. My background is journalism, but I appreciate what Mike's doing and learning here. because I'm learning to do process serving and other investigative work is more of a side hustle.
That's great. Great.
I'm in West Virginia, currently in the beautiful little town of Milton, West Virginia right now.
Okay, West Virginia. And I'll tell you, West Virginia is not an easy place to find a process server. So you're in a good spot over there. I'll tell you, I get people all the time ask me, who you got West Virginia? And or at least twice in the last couple months. And I'm like, I only know one person over there. So, and I, tell them about you, but you got to, that's the thing is your network is your net worth. The more people you know, the more opportunities you have to earn. And so that's the idea with the masterminds, helping each other out here. So next we have assistant 2.
Hi, I'm Laura Creekmore. I'm with Legal Services. We're in the DC area. And Tori's on here as well.
Awesome. I see her lovely logo there with her sitting in the cool blue sky. So welcome to you. What was your name again?
Laura Creekmore.
Laura?
Laura.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right. Tori.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tori Schaefer. I'm the president of Tori's Legal Services. I've been in business for 30 years. I am the former president of the Mid-Atlantic Association of Professional Process Servers. I'm in the DC area, but we serve papers nationwide.
Very good. Very good. Well, welcome. And you guys just had a great conference, and
thank you.
Definitely appreciate you and your professionalism, and definitely some great content over on YouTube as well. Tori's Legal Service.
And we love you.
Thank you. All right. We got my man, Lockjaw Legal. Reuven, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, my name is Reuven Lipovich. I'm the owner of Lockjaw Legal Process Services in Orange County, California, surrounding counties. I've been doing a process server now for about 3 years.
And we lock our jaw in every case.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's got a good one. I love that one. Oh, it's breaking up a little bit. But Reuven has been in the mastermind for a long time. We stopped doing it for a while, but hopefully I'm not breaking up. Okay.
Signal here, sorry.
Hopefully it's not me that's breaking up. Okay, so thank you, Reuven. Appreciate it, man.
I got this.
All right, so let's do some muting here. Don't worry if you get unmuted. I'm not trying to shut you up. Well, I'm just, you can always unmute yourself, okay? All right, let's dive into it. So the next person I have on my screen is Bradley.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is the first time I've been on Zoom, so I'm still learning.
Okay, well, I feel honored that, this is your first experience with Zoom. I mean, I've been using Zoom for 4 years, but most people, when I would try to get them to come on with me on Zoom, it's weird. They're like, I don't do social media. I'm like, that's not social media, it's Zoom. Yeah. And so now Zoom is like a household name, everybody.
Yeah, I've been trying to get passwords and everything and figure out how to get on. So,
well, you're on.
I'm on here now.
Congratulations. You're here. You made it.
Yeah.
Where are you from, Brad?
I'm from Avon Park, Florida. I serve process in the 10th Judicial Circuit in Florida.
Okay,
and
awesome.
I lost you. Yeah, I've been doing it for about 5 years.
Okay, great. That's awesome. Well, nice to have you on. We're going to learn some skip tracing stuff here. All right, let's see. I think I got everyone who's showing their screen. Maybe not. Let me see. Did I miss anybody who wants to introduce themselves? Okay, I don't think so. Yeah, so if you're sharing your screen, I'm going to call on you. If you don't, then I won't, okay? Just so you guys know. All right, so guys, what I want to do today is there's a lot of different things that you could do, and we could go over. Skip tracing is one of those topics that you could just go on for days about. And I'm going to be really careful not to do that. Valerie's going to come on here at some point, but I'm going to show you guys the tips and tricks that I used as a process server and still use doing real estate stuff that I do now. I do a lot of this, with my marketing and my, real estate, finding deals and property information. It's crazy how much the two industries overlap. And so I'm going to show you guys some of the tools and how cool it is. And some of them are free and some of them aren't. Okay. So you guys can do your research, try to get some deals. Actually, I got a coupon code from the guy that I got it, one of these apps from, that gives you 30 days to check it out. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive into it. Valerie, are you on yet? I don't see her, but okay. Got to watch the text message too. We're live now. Make sure she's able to get in. We're live now. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you guys what I use. So first of all, let's go through a scenario together. You're out there serving a paper. Well, let's say, okay, in the office first. You are sitting there, you get a call. The person that calls you wants you to go serve something, right? But they don't have the address. I don't have an address. If you don't already know this, and forgive me, a lot of you guys are experienced, but I'm gonna go real basic here for a second. If he or she doesn't have an address, this is an opportunity for you to make more money. It's plain and simple, because you're solving a problem for that person that they can't solve on their own. How many of you guys, before you became process servers or private investigators, have ever skip traced somebody using Google? Right? If you've ever tried to search, some of these companies will charge you an arm and a leg for a skip trace because you don't have access. You could charge $37 or $45 for a skip trace, and the information is horrible. It's terrible. It's old info. So if you can solve that problem for them, and you're going to give them good info, not bad info, right off the bat, you're going to win. So let me share my screen here. I'm going to try this. I don't do this very often. I'm going to try to do this on my cell phone here. So bear with me. So I can show you the apps. So virtual legal. So first thing, let me share. So first thing here is, the first thing I want to show you. Oh, it's going to make me do that again. Hold on. Screen mirroring. That's not too hard. That's pretty cool. Screen mirroring. There we go. Can you guys see that okay? The screen mirroring thing. Okay. You see the virtual legal professionals? Okay, good. So I'm just curious, does that fill your whole screen, or do you see people as well?
In the middle, yeah, you can still see this other screens.
Okay, you could probably grab it and move it too, just so you know. You can grab it, click on it, and move it around too. You can, a lot of technical stuff there with Zoom. You can move stuff around, Brad. So don't feel yeah, no big deal. So the reason why I want to show you this really quick is this is my legal company, Nationwide Legal Company, where we're focusing on everything virtual. So e-service, e-notary, e-filing, e-recording, all this. If you go, what I want to show you is that if you have somebody who needs something served, right, get it served, and they come down here to process serving, you got your rates and stuff, right? You got to have a form like this. So this is what I want to show you. So skip tracing, if they don't already have an address, you want to make it clear to, in layman's terms, locate service. So they can click locate service. And for me, I have it automatically, charge them and stuff, right? But if they click process serving, you want to, at some point, a stopgap in your system where they can then tell you, do you need us to do a skip trace locate service? They've already clicked process server because that's what they need us to do. If they click no, I know where I want you to serve it. It'll ask for an address, right? That's what you want. And if yes, please do a skip trace. It should automatically add that as a fee at the bottom. So anyway, that's one thing I wanted to show you guys, having some kind of a form. I use formstack.com. You can go to formstack.com. I actually include those forms in the websites that I build. So formstack.com, that's the first one you want to write down. That's just a really quick thing. It'll save you tons of time and energy in getting those skip traces. You can charge whatever you want. I charge $150. See, on the flip side, though, is I do free skip traces if they've hired me to do the process serving, because that's how I'm going to get that next address. And it's how I'm going to present the wow factor on every job. So either I served it right away and they're super happy with me, right? Or it was a bad address. I'd been there a few times and we went ahead and skip traced it. And when I contact them again to let them know, hey, it's a bad address, there's no like, now what am I going to do? I checked it out. It's a bad address. It turns out they moved across town over here to this other address. I'll be happy to go there too. And I don't give them the address. I tell them I'd be happy to go over there and serve it for you if you'd like. There's an extra fee for the other address. So again, I'm talking entrepreneur stuff here, business, right? So you either got the skip trace on the front end or you're going to get the give the skip trace for free at the end, because either way we're solving a problem for them. In the beginning, if they didn't have an address, we solved the problem for them for a fee. In the end, they gave us an address maybe that wasn't good on another scenario, so then we did a skip trace for free. And you don't have to do that. That's just what I do. Okay, this next app I want to show you is called Deal Machine. And Deal Machine, again, we're talking about like a job, like, you know, you're a process server. I know we're going to get more into some details of skip tracing in a minute, but I want to show you this app because I didn't have this app when I was, you know, driving every day, serving 40 papers a day or whatever. I didn't have this app. It's called Deal Machine. And Deal Machine is basically a property locator. So when you're driving down the street, let's say, and I'll show you how powerful this is. So powerful. So, and before you start thinking, well, how much is it and all this, I think it might be like $50 a month. But I can give you guys a link. It's basically just a coupon code, which is Max. It's the guy who sells it, and you get 30 days free. So I'll warn you though, once you try this and if you're serving a lot of papers, once you try this, you're going to want to pay that money, because check this out. So here you got pre-foreclosures or foreclosures, right? So we're not looking for properties. We're just looking to serve somebody, right? So, I don't know. You don't have to select any of these. I just want to show you what it'll do. If you go pre-foreclosures or foreclosures and hit apply, then it'll automatically start to highlight addresses that are in foreclosure. It pulls from thousands of different lists. Now, why is that important? It isn't really as a process server. It's pretty cool to know, because when you go over here, this one's in foreclosure, and you go to serve this one, let's say, check that out. Take a second, check that out. This is public record. Okay, it's public record. So you could go on the website if your local county has this for property records. But this automatically tells me that the owner, so if I show up at 7614 Brisbane Court here in Orlando, and I'm trying to serve a Bradley, but it says Bradley, I'm in the right spot, wouldn't you say? So this is powerful, because then it gives you confidence to go back to this address again and again and again and again until you serve them, right? But let's say I show up to this address. Let's try a few others here. Actually, let me use a different preset, and then we'll go on to the next app I want to show you. And then we'll get into some skip trace techniques that I love. So what was I looking for? Oh, absentee owners. I'm going to do this just because I want to show you. See, these are all people who don't own the properties, right? They do own it, but they don't live there. And this is a great example. And this is the next powerful part of this tool. So let's say I show up to this address, this other address across the street, 7615 Brisbane, and I'm looking for Horace and Marcia. I don't have an eviction. I have like a car accident, right? If I show up there and they're an absentee owner, I don't know if this is a great example, because actually it says they live there. Let's see here. More info. So here you go. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. So they own this address, but where do they actually live? 6996. And how quick could I find that out if I had this app? I pull up to the address, I click it, I see that they do own it, in fact, right? I click it. Oh, they do. Okay, good. But then I see absentee owner. I'm like, oh man, they're renting this out. I mean, I've been to property so many times where they say, oh, no, that's our landlord's name, probably 100 times in the last 5 years. So if I click more info, then it'll tell me the actual address without ever having to do a skip trace. This is the cheapest skip tracing tool. That's not even meant to be a skip tracing tool out there. And I will tell you that you can hit skip trace. There's a skip trace button. Where is it? But it is worthless. Do not hit skip trace on their tool. They use a free tool, just like those ones online, that gives you junk information. For actual skip tracing, you want to go to Delve Point or IDI or TLO. Those are my my top 3 favorites. We'll talk about that more here in a little bit. Let's see if anybody's waiting to get in here. Doesn't look like it. Okay.
You said the name of that was Deal Machine?
That's right, Deal Machine. Yeah, Deal Machine. And when you get to the payment area, you want to put a coupon or a promo code is Max. He's a wholesale flipper. He finds houses and stuff, and he's got the best discount code. It's 30 days. So you can check it out, use it fully. I mean, first of all, for the first 30 days, it's free basically to skip trace. And again, this is information you could get in some counties, and especially in Florida, you can find this information on Google. But the fact that, I'm driving around trying to find my property or whatever, I get to my property and it's simple as a click, boom. Jill and Alex Trust. It's a company, but at least it's their name. So I hope that makes sense. We can get some questions here in just a minute, but that's the only thing I would use it for in regards to process serving. But if a skip trace is a couple dollars each, I don't even have to do that. It's a flat fee of $50 or whatever, and I can hit every single address I go to. Before I even walk up to the door, I can see who the owner is. Now, it's possible that it's not right, but giving you that added little bit of information is very helpful. All right. So on to the next app. And those of you guys, you can use whatever kind of app you want, but I love anything that helps me automate what I'm doing. So these are just some locations I've pinned here in Orlando, but this app is called Road Warrior. And Road Warrior is like $5 a month or something. I think there's a free version actually. I like to do one, I do like 40. Let me just show you actually. I'll go back to some of my old routes. Let's see, try one of these. I wonder if I started using it in 2017. Anyway, here's one from California. You can save your favorites and stuff. But anyway, this is great, and this is why I love this one. Is let's say I'm going to an address for skip tracing purposes. If I go to this address right here and Lilac, and I'm looking for the person, I can actually add notes in my map. I could show you on Serve Manager, does the same thing. Serve Manager has an option to add that inside your map. But Road Warrior is nice because you can actually add this as a favorite. And then no matter what route you're on, you can go in and edit that favorite. So let me see if I can do this here real quick. There you go. So I can make this the person's name if I wanted. But let's say I show up to the place. Now you want to put all of your notes about addresses and stuff in your process serving software, which was supposed to be the meeting for last week. I'm going to just do a YouTube video about it because there's just too much. There's so much involved in software. But you can make a note in here. So let's say I go to this. So this is one of my favorite things for finding somebody. Let me just go ahead and tell you. I'm going to unshare here. So one of my favorite ways of actually getting the job done is oftentimes when you're at the door. And believe me, skip tracing tips, we're going to, I'm going to show you some stuff on Google here in a second. And we don't have to dive into Delve Point because I'll tell you some of the identifiers that you're really looking for. But the idea here is that when you're at the door, there's a lot of technique. There's a lot of sleight of hand stuff that happens, right? So when you walk up to the door, the best thing to do, and I know every state has their own rules and laws and stuff, so you got to be careful. But where I found the most success, some people bring a box to the door and stuff. I don't have to do that. All I got to do is walk up with my clipboard. I always had a clipboard. Let me tell you something. For those of you guys that are like, I'm going to hide it in my pocket. I did that for like the first 6 months. And then I tried using a clipboard one time and it was just a dream because I went to the door And it saved me so many times from dogs, saved me so many times from them looking at the paperwork because it's in my hand or whatever. Like that clipboard is just my best friend, you know. And the other thing is you can hold it up like this. You can take it and, you know, and hold it up. So if you go, Tom, and they go, well, who's asking? Or no, I'm not Tom. I could go, okay, all right. And then that makes them feel uneasy. And oftentimes they'll be like, yeah, well, I mean, I'm Tom. Just kidding. Just give it to me. That's happened a couple times. Or, so anyway, I'm skip tracing, right? I get to the door and I get somebody. Let's say I go and there's a husband and wife, and I'm looking for the wife. I'm looking for the husband and the wife. Sorry. The wife comes to the door. What should I do? I should ask for the husband. I could just serve the wife. But if I serve the wife, now she knows she's going to tell the husband, and I may not ever get the husband served. So what I do is she goes and gets the husband, comes back with the husband. I serve them both at the door because she's not going to go off and take a bath or whatever. She's going to come back to the door and see what it was. So then you get them both served. Now, the best type of skip tracing, let's say they don't live there. Someone says they don't live there. The trick with this, I find, is to ask more questions. You just keep asking questions, like not like pointed or rude questions, but like you show up and they go, no, you don't live here. Oh, okay, I see. That's cool. That's pretty cool. You got some lilacs over here. That's cool. There's my mom used to grow those, whatever. That's cool. And then you're a nice person. And then you say, something like, well, that's crazy. So they don't live here. How long have you lived here, if you don't mind me asking? Well, I've lived here 5 years or whatever. And someone who's lying about who they are or about who lives there and stuff, they're not going to be able to carry on a conversation with you. They're going to shut it down. They're going to be like, unless they're just completely, con artist person. In that case, you probably shouldn't go back. They might put you in their basement or something. Yeah. So, and that's the other thing. Don't ever go in the house. Don't ever go in the house. I went in the house, made me a rock star to the attorney one time. And thinking back on it, was not a good idea. There's so many things that could have gone wrong. So when you're invited, a lot of times people are like, well, I'm invited. And what happens when you're all of a sudden uninvited and you're in the back of the house trying to get the guy who's sleeping? It's not a good scenario. So what I really like to do is I'm a tactician. I like to get real technical when it comes to like how to do certain things. So you guys might already know this, but I'm going to go ahead and share it anyways. Share. I'm working with one screen because I got my phone plugged in here. So hopefully this is working. All right. So those of you guys that don't know, I did a search for Valerie. Well, let me give her a plug. So Valerie, you can look her up if you haven't already. She has all her books on Amazon. And let's just do that real quick. She has her books on Amazon, and they're great. Okay, so what I want to do is show you how to do a Boolean search. So you guys, I would recommend actually looking up Boolean and seeing what that means and where that comes from. But I'll give you the short story. The Boolean search is a search operator. So at some point back in the day, that Google was like, well, how are we going to make different information more important than other information? How are we going to decipher what is what? And so there were search operators created. I'm not going to go through all of them. I don't really use all of them. But some of the most powerful ones, I'm going to show you right now. Google is the most powerful search engine in the world. So where this applies mostly, and this is where I want you to remember, this applies mostly to finding out where somebody works, right? Like if you get a judgment and you're trying to find out where somebody works, you're trying to find out any kind of information of where you can find these people, which is great for process serving. This is what you do. So what we want to be very specific about is the person's name. So let's say somebody, let's see who we want to search for. We're going to be seeing some great information here. So let's do someone from my high school days. Let's see. All right. I don't know. Let's just go. This is a good one because he's, I know where he is. He's there for life. And, okay. So sometimes stuff will just show up right away, but in this case, this is a very common name. So this is going to be an interesting one. So here I might know anything else. So the reason why we put this in quotes is we're telling Google, this being in quotes like this is saying, I only want you to give me information that puts this in this exact order. Now, what's outside of there can change, but what's inside of there needs to stay the same. So let's say I know he's from California. Do this. Let's see. Okay, so of course, very common name. I'm going to get a lot of, a lot of Miguel's, a lot of California, but you notice how they're all in California. Okay, I just want you to take note of that. Okay, now, and they're all just Miguel Rodriguez. There's not a whole lot of other names. Let's say I know, what else might I know? Let's get some feedback here from you guys. What other things might I know about Miguel? Let's see. Let's go with Alicia. What might I know about Miguel? Hold on, unmute.
You might know maybe a previous city or maybe family history where he was born.
Good, very good. So where he's born is a really good one. I don't know where he was born. So let's go with the local city where we went to high school. Los Banos, California. Yes, that does mean the bathroom. I went to Bathroom High School. Yep. Okay, so been verified. So see, these are the guys that want to rip you off. Been verified. There we go. We already found him. I mean, this could be a different Miguel. 140 pounds. That sounds like him. So what a lot of skip tracers do is they have a tendency of going with their gut. I mean, just going with what you find. So you might find this person right here and go, I see inmate. I see the name I'm looking for. Oh, we have Martinez here. So that's not good. But it does have Miguel Rodriguez. That might be his middle name. I actually do know his middle name. So let's put that in, which is totally ironic. Okay. All right. Court listener. Okay. So we're fine. We're just, this may not seem super fruitful, but I want to show you guys how this works. When you put it in quotes, it really does narrow in the results that you can get. Another example, actually, let me just Google this. It'll give us a list. Boolean operators. Yeah, that way you guys can see how it's spelled and stuff. So Boolean operators are the words and or and not when used in the library databases. Yeah. So you can use these things like I want this and that. So I could put in quotes multiple things, right? Like I could put, Miguel Rodriguez, and then I could come over here and put and, right? And then put something else like inmate. I'm just curious what I get there. Right, a prisoner. It's a really generic name, so this is hard. I mean, if I had any kind of a name that was unique, even just a little bit more than Miguel Rodriguez, this would work out a lot better. Oh, not inmate. Let's see here. What do we want to put? Was it Massachusetts? Let's see. Yep, that's him. So that's a better example. Taking someone with more of a unique name, that's his business, right? That's him. That's, so basically all of these are him, right? So the other example is bad because he really didn't do anything. He went to prison at 19 or whatever. So if the person has any kind of a business or anything, it's a much better situation. Let's go Valerie. Valerie. Earlier, see, this is her other name. Or maybe her pen name or something. Let's go Valerie and let's go Skip. Right? I know that's one of the names that she has used before. And then skip tracing. And then I get all of this information about her. So that's a better example. So if the name is very ambiguous and you don't have a whole lot of information, it's going to be very hard to find the person. But using that search operator with the quotes is probably one of the most valuable ways of finding where somebody works. Do any of you guys that are on right now, do you have somebody that you're looking for that you're having trouble finding? And
I
you
do.
want to, okay, go for it.
Okay, his name is, give me 1 second.
No problem.
His name is Jimmy Lee Uzzell, Uzzell.
Okay, what else do we know about him?
Oh, I know a lot about him.
Okay, yeah. So you probably, let's do something. Let's say we're looking for his job, or we just want to find out where we can find him.
Hold on. He's 85.
Okay, 85 years old.
So I have his date of birth.
Okay, we could try that. So let's do the date of birth in quotes.
I thought I did. Hold on, let me look at another one, another skip trace on the sky.
So any information that you know is going to be exact, you want to put that in quotes. And then if you don't get any information, then you dial back. It's the same thing when you're using a skip trace database. You put all the information in possible that you have, and then you start dialing it back, because the database is trying to give you exactly what you're looking for, and you're giving it too much information. As you dial it back, it'll start to be more broad, more generic, but you want it to be as specific as possible to get rid of junk, people with jimmies that you don't need.
Okay, his date of birth, there are a couple of them.
Okay.
So why don't we get rid of the 85-year-old? January 20th, 1935.
So we're going to go 1935?
Yes.
So I like doing numbers because that's how you'll usually see it in certain databases and stuff. Okay, so 1935. Let's see what we get here. There aren't any great matches for your search. Okay, what's his Zell? So it's a very unique name. So what I would do is I would dial it back here. So now let's take this out, and instead of putting this in quotes, actually you could just leave the whole thing in there, but not in quotes, right? Like this, but not in quotes. That way it gives you a variety of stuff. So see, we got a few more searches down here. These are skip trace operators. Okay, let's take these out, see what we get. And again, let's just keep doing this really quick. Watch. Okay, here we go. There's a phone number for somebody.
Okay, so
there you go.
That's our guy.
That's our guy. How much money did we pay? Now the information may not be very great, but
right.
True People Search.
Because I know his family members.
Interesting.
And Houston is one of the names.
Okay, so you could do that. If you had that information, you could throw that in. So again, the best use for this Google searching is to find out where somebody works. That's the best use for it. So really quick, let's go ahead and take out Lee, because most likely if he shows up online somewhere, Lee's not going to be included. So what was it, 1935?
Yes.
Boy, this guy, he's up there. All right, let's see. Aren't any great matches? Individual search genealogy. So you're getting a little more broad here. That's why you got to be careful. Like this might not be him. Okay, so that's why you got to be a little careful. So if you have Lee, it's great to add it in there. His name could be James, right? Could be. Might find out where he went to school as you do this. Home storage. Now, if we had a state, what state? Do you know?
Maryland.
Okay.
Or DC.
Okay. Let's do or DC like that. Okay. So what's really cool about this, though, you guys, I want to point out is, see, before I had lead, now I don't. Look what starts showing up. So now, do you think I'm confident when I see Lee somewhere? when I didn't even put it, probably, right? So let's see. Some pretty good. Anytime you see that, you'll get to know these, but just ignore these PQ. I shouldn't say ignore. You do look at them because they give you some verifiable information. Like here's Lee again, lives in Washington, D.C. But again, this information could be old. So if you have a skip tracing tool like Delve Point, that's going to be your best bet. LinkedIn is one of the best. If you're trying to find out where somebody works, it's one of the best tools. Kentucky. Now we can cancel that one out. So you see, I mean, this is research, guys. That's what skip tracing is. Here we go. The L. We're getting phone numbers like crazy. So again, you're digging. That's what you do. Oh, here was bail bonds. Inmate. No. Oh, Maryland. So yeah, you could click on. Again, I haven't even went into any of these because once you dive into one, you got to really check the boxes. So sometimes that can take you some time. So again, if you're doing a skip tracing, you're really trying to be professional here about your skip tracing. I would always hit Google first because Google's going to give you some other information that you can then use in Delve Point or whatever. I'm sorry, whatever software you're using, you can do that. Okay. I feel like we're pretty much done with Google because Google, you could go on for days. There's so many different search operators, different things. Michael Bazell is somebody you should look up if you want to hone your craft. I'm not even sure how to spell his last name here. Let's see. B-A-Z. That's him. Thank you, Google. Here you go. IntelliTechniques. So now Facebook has changed after the Analytica scandal, whatever you want to call it. They've changed their program, so his tool doesn't really work anymore. That doesn't mean that his he had a tool before you could use that would help you search Facebook, and it was amazing. You could see pages even if their Facebook was private. It was called mapping, and you could look at all the pages on someone's Facebook account and just kind of dive in. It was really cool. But he has other great resources that you can check out. If you're trying to be a tactician, you want to learn this. I'm not saying you have to go buy his stuff, but pay attention because this is the guy. This is all he does, and he's high level intelligence tracking. That's what he does. He's also got a great podcast. So,
hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay. On his page, you can go to inteltechniques.net. You could subscribe to a lot of the links that he used to do when he had his sessions open up to subscription. Mm-hmm. It's kind of pricey, but one of his other colleagues kind of took it over for him. And there it's $450 per year. Okay. But it gives you a lot of the open source intelligence.
Yeah.
The other thing, have you ever used Scope now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've had luck with Facebook pages on that. Or Hunchly.
Definitely good. And so skip tracing, you could go on for days. I mean, about all the different, but like I said, he's the resource. So today we're just giving you a little intro for process servers, like what to do when you're at the door and like what kind of other resources you can have. But I'll tell you, thank you, Alicia. I appreciate it because having this, $450 a year is nothing. If you're getting work coming in and stuff, this is nothing for you to be able to use all of his tools and his trainings and stuff. You can watch a video there. So I definitely endorse him and Valerie when it comes to learning skip tracing. So the last thing I want to talk about here is pretext. So some places you can't do pretexting. Okay. So you got to research your local area. It also depends on the industry that you're in. You could be in an industry where you could get in big trouble. And then to the degree of pretexting you can do. So now what's pretexting for those of you guys that don't know? Pretexting is lying on the phone. Okay. So, and I love lying on the phone. I love it. Love it, love, love, love it. The best way to get somebody served is to lie to them on the phone. I know it sounds terrible, but it's so true. Check this out. So, first of all, I want you to, I'll set the scene. You're driving. You got a 2-hour drive up the mountains to try to serve somebody. You go there one time and there's a gate. You know, the person paid you $300-$400 to go up there. You go up there one time. You go back home, right? Hi, there's a gate. You tell them there's a gate. You really want to get this done for them because you don't want to have to give them a refund, and they're giving you all this grief about how they might ask for it or whatever. I know that's a whole business side of it. But how do you get the job done? If you want to get the job done and you want to land those big clients, because attorneys talk to each other, what you do is you figure out how far you can go with this. But I have never, ever had a problem serving anyone using these kind of techniques. And I know it's not necessarily skip tracing, but when it comes to serving someone, I'm going to give you an example. And again, with the disclaimer that you got to make sure it's legal in your area. As you call them from, you can go to CallRail or Google Voice, or you can get a different, you don't want to call from your own phone number. And if you do call from your number, make sure you block it. Okay. And I give you other resources too. There's one called Vumber. Vumber is really good. eVoice. There's a bunch of them. Okay. But you want to have another number that you can call these people on. What you do is you call them. Actually, I'm going to explain to you how to do this based on the serve that I did. I got paid $5,000 for. And for those of you guys that think, did I already tell this story, Lawrence? Okay. All right. So I'm sitting there learning marketing because I only serve at night. This is about year 2 when I first started. And I was just sitting there learning marketing because I want to grow my business. During the day, my wife at the time was doing proofs in the other room, and I'm just sitting here doing marketing. And the only way you're going to pull me away from the desk learning marketing, because I love it, was if you're going to pay me $500 for a same day serve. If you want me to go right now, it's $500. That was what everyone knew. My wife knew that. My assistant knew that. Everyone knew that. Like, until 5 o'clock, don't talk to me. You know, if it's a daytime serve, you go, you know, she'll go deliver a subpoena for records, whatever. She'll do that. She'll do all that. I'll go serve all the night stuff. I'll serve like 40 papers, you know. So I'm sitting there and she goes, I got one for you. And I said, is he willing to pay $500? And she goes, no. I said, well, then I'll do it tonight. Like, just tell him I'll do it in a couple hours. Like, well, I'll go later. And she goes, no, he wants you to go now. I said, let me get him on the phone. So I get him on the phone. She transfers him over, and I tell him, I go, listen, I'll go right now. I'll go serve him right now. No problem. I'll get up and go. He goes, okay. Because I learned that my time. Oh, you're fine.
Sorry.
You're fine. I'm just going to mute you. No big deal. So I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, I tell him I'll go out there right now. And the funny thing is once you realize what your time is worth, you set the terms. So when I told him that, you know what his response was? He said, I think he even said, boy, he goes, boy, I don't care how much you charge. He goes, if you get him served today, I'll give you $5,000. And I was like,
Yes.
nah, yeah, this guy's lying to me right now. He's lying. But he had all my hairs standing up on the back of my neck. And I said, okay, all right, I'm listening. I said, I'll go right now. And I went ahead and went into Stripe. And I said, what's your card number? I said, I'm not going to charge you till it's done, but I want to verify funds. So in Stripe, I use Stripe for my website stuff. I went into Stripe, put his card number in, verify funds. And sure enough, it said verified for $5,000. I said, if I get this served today, you sure? And he goes, yeah, absolutely. I had him, I sent him over a Adobe sign thing saying that we're going to serve it for him. We're going to go out and try to serve it. If we don't serve it, I'll continue to make attempts for $500 every day, right? Like normal. And so he said, great. So anyways, here I am, right? If someone told you could get $5,000 as long as you got served a day, what would you do? You would sit outside of whatever the property was. But then I started thinking like, but what if I drive? It was also an hour and a half away up in Reading, which is a little ways up. So what are you going to do? So here's where the education part comes in. I thought, I called a friend of mine at the time, said he was a great skip tracer. And I said, let's start calling. I want you to skip trace every address. And I want you to start calling every person he knows. And you do the thing, because him and I had talked about the thing. And the thing was that you call and that you say you're FedEx, or you say whatever your story is. And it goes something like this. Let's say I'm calling Jimmy, let's say. Yeah, I'm calling for Jimmy. I'm trying to verify an address. I got a driver in the area of 2451 Main Street. Is that still the address? And that's a totally wrong address, right? And they say, no, Jimmy's over here at this address. Oh, well, we have him over here. Shoot. Okay, well, do you want me to send the package back to the sender, or do you want to give me the address and I can send them over? 100% of the time they're going to tell you what the address is, because people love the Amazon package. People love the smile, the Amazon. So it works every time. So what we did was in this case, it didn't work because, what did work is that he was able to get rid of these addresses. So I didn't have to drive to them. So going through 7 different addresses, uncle, grandma, mom, talking to all these people, we were able to check off all these addresses. And then I ended up going to his probation officer and got the probation officer's business card. I ended up at the house, the drug-free house rehabilitation place. He wasn't there, but his person, his babysitter guy, whatever they're called, was there, saw the probation officer's card, assumed I was the probation officer. I didn't tell him that. Assumed that's who I was, and said, was just talking to me. I said, well, so how's he doing? And he was telling me he's been coming back on time. He's been here. He's been to his meetings, and he was just going on and on. I was just like, okay. I said, well, I really need to get in touch with him. He goes, oh, is he in trouble? And I was just like, I just really got to get a hold of him. He goes, I'll tell you where he is. He's over there at the AA meeting at 245 whatever address. And so I couldn't believe this. I couldn't believe that it just all came together like that. I went down there in front of the AA meeting. He walked out. I served him. He was a nice young man. And, it's for a custody thing. And turns out the guy was from Thailand. The guy who hired me was from Thailand. And he had his daughter. And this guy was abusive and stuff, apparently, whatever, allegedly. And if he didn't get him served, he'd have had to bring the daughter back from Thailand that day, or he'd lose custody of the girl. So, and that alone was going to cost like $5,000 per person for whatever. So it was more than worth it for him to pay me to go out and serve it. So you got to see the problem that you're solving. Is the problem that you're solving equal to the amount of money you're getting paid? I feel like oftentimes as process servers, we don't equate that. We don't see it that way. So for me, like, your time is worth so much. I'm not saying you don't want to work with people. For example, we have a lot of affiliates here, other process servers. If you're willing to work for them, give them a discount or whatever, are they doing the same for you? So these are some things. I know this is more business related, but pretexting works for getting rid of addresses that you never even have to drive to. And I would never do this without being paid a handsome amount of money. And so that's pretexting. So you got the driving for dollars, deal machine app, so you can quickly see who lives there before you even knock on the door. Flat rate per month, right? Then you got the Road Warrior app. You can take notes, keep notes. The deal machine app actually has a cool feature, and we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We'll do some Q&A. It'll send a postcard. So it's meant to try to buy the person's property, but you could totally use that postcard as a way of, hey, we've been trying to get a hold of you to get your property, and then they call you, but that might be considered deceptive. So you want to be careful with all that stuff. So let's go ahead and do some Q&A, and then see what's going on with old Valor here. What questions do you guys have?
Oh. I use a lot of pretexting. Miss Berzins just said, right, Karen? Because that is my name. Don't ask me how I came up with it. And it does work.
With you saying what?
I said it does work very well.
Pretexting, yeah. Yeah, it does.
Mike, I have a question for you about something. I'm looking for someone that's familiar with serving papers via WhatsApp.
Right. Yeah. So having a link right? Having a link in your WhatsApp so you can send. I haven't served anyone by WhatsApp, but I know that's kind of the area I'm going into with e-service for virtual legal pros. That's my my new area of expertise, if you will. So
You and I should probably have a talk because we do a lot of e-service. We've done Facebook,
yep,
Messenger, we've done LinkedIn, we've done text messaging, and I know the Saudi prince was just served by WhatsApp.
yeah. Yeah, WhatsApp is a international. It's very common. Yeah.
And I've reached out to the company. They're based in Canada, and they have not on their website. It does not have a phone number.
Oh wow.
Okay, it's one of these intelligent type.
Okay.
I don't even know. And I've reached out to them twice, and I have not heard anything back.
They're a process serving company or private investigators, probably.
There's some sort of investigation. I'd say they're private investigators specializing in a lot of intel type information.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. So we can get together. We can figure it out. As far as the WhatsApp, that's, yeah, you just got to have a link that's clickable. And when they click on that link, it'll send a message back to you or back to the system that you're using, kind of a third party system, to verify that they've opened the link. And as soon as anybody who's opened the link on the other side, you know they're served. So the trouble is you never know who it was that opened it, but it's up to the court to decide if that's valid service.
Is that valid in California?
Yeah, California allows e-service, but it has to be, you have to have an order from the judge. Pretty much that's how it seems to be, how it is anywhere. I think Texas passed something recently that was kind of questionable, but I think you still have to have an order.
You have to show it from my experience. You need to show due diligence prior to any of these type services, so that you've tried to go to their mothers and here and there and everywhere.
Right, exactly. So doing any kind of e-service, Serve Manager has a really cool. They're the only ones I know that have a. See, if you have e-filing, you can e-serve people all day long. When you e-file something, it'll ask you want to e-serve as well. You can do that. And in California, it's big. It's huge, actually. But when it comes to e-serve, standalone e-service, guys, that's where it's at. I mean, if you want to stay relevant, 10 years from now in process serving, become a PI. Okay. Because that's never going away. There's always going to be a need for PIs no matter what. And B, start learning virtual e-service, because they're always going to need a third party to serve it. Even if it's virtual, they're always going to need a third party to step in and actually take care of the service, an uninterested party. So if you're the one like Tori's doing, Facebook serves and stuff like that, that's the idea. You want to be the one that they go to. And in real estate, we're learning too. That's the idea, is like you're the information broker. So they call you because they're Googling it and they hear what it is in all these other states, but it's so new that they don't know anything about it. And so you want to specialize in something, specialize in e-service. I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but that's the future. 10 years from now, that's going to be the future. You're going to have people doing e-service, e-filing, e-recording. Ask Mike Kern. He just got a statewide e-recording contract where he can e-record directly to the counties. So all the attorneys come to him to do the e-recording in California. That's where it's at. Be the resource for people. So keeping it somewhat related to skip tracing, the counties have a lot of information. So if your state allows for you to have access to that kind of stuff, definitely get involved. Definitely try to be a vendor that can do that. Tori, how about in your area? Are you allowed to e-file and all that? You got e-filing, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Actually, Serve Manager, they just came in Maryland.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have, Laura, how many counties are there? Do you know off the top of your head? All but 3 counties in Maryland have e-service.
Right. Right.
And also we're in DC, but only the attorneys have access to the e-filing system.
Yeah.
They're not allowing pro ses or process servers.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where it becomes kind of difficult. California, we got really lucky because in California, the Cal's Pro, basically their entire budget goes to pay for the lobbyists. And the lobbyist is the same lobbyist that Apple uses.
Oh,
Apple.
well.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's why they were able to get what they got. Yeah. So Mike Belote, he's so that's a tall order. I mean, for any state association to try to tackle. So, but it's definitely something. Your state associations, by the way, is as far as physical process serving, that's what's keeping this industry alive. Process serving, when it comes to physical services. Now, like I said, eventually, not to be doom and gloom, but eventually, PIs will be the ones serving 90% of the paperwork because of whether it's licensure, whether it's everything's e-service, so you can't afford to stay involved. I mean, one of the second year around the time where I served that $5,000 serve, half my business was court filing. Half of it, like at least about $8,000 a month, just from one legal big client over there. One legal would pay me $8,000 a month just to file stuff. And that was just one of the many clients to file stuff. And so all of a sudden one day they just turned it off because e-filing became permissive where they were allowed to e-file. So remember, when you're the guy at the end of the chain and the middleman no longer needs you, they just won't use you. It's nothing personal. It's just how it is. And so imagine losing $8,000 a month. I all but cut them off from process serving. So you ain't getting a discount anymore. That's first of all, Yeah,
well, not only the filing, the document retrieval with everything that's online now.
Yep. You just print it out. Yep. Or whatever, download it from online and send it to your client. What's funny is like I try to get in on that game a little bit. People call me, want a document retrieval. I would just go to the internet myself, download it. And then I thought, man, if they, I just didn't feel right about it, so if it doesn't take me any time at all, I just give them the link, say, here, man.
You're too nice, Mike.
I just feel bad after I told you that $5,000 story.
I'm putting you in the system. Whatever we do to make money, we'll do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, so I will say too, just since we're talking about business stuff, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here if we don't have any other questions. But when it comes to business stuff, in other industries, real estate is huge, you guys. Like I wish I would have gotten in 10 years ago, but you sell one house at 3%, you get a $10,000 check for filling out a proof of service, right? Filling out some
documents.
It was
that easy.
It's not super easy. Yeah. You got to learn it. You got to know the laws, but that's how it is with process serving too. You got to know the laws. You got to know the rules for what proofs to use, different areas. It's actually, as I was incubated in California. So there was proofs there's a different proof document for every type of serve, just about. And going to these other states, at least the ones I've done business in, it's like one proof, maybe two. And I'm just shocked, maybe New York's a little different, but most things are just like a generic affidavit. And I'm just shocked. There's just one proof for everything. So, well, good stuff.
Mike, I got a question.
Yeah, shoot.
So I use Del Point for skip tracing. Is there anything else that's good? Because I have a guy I'm trying to find who is he has a criminal history, and he was living at a house with 6 other roommates. All roommates are listed on when I skip the house, all of them come listed on there as being owners or living there. But this guy is hiding, and they said he lives in the area, but they won't give me his address. And I'm trying to find him to serve him. Is there any other software I could use or I could subscribe to?
Yeah, so there are other softwares. You're breaking up a little there, Reuven, but I got your question pretty well. There are other softwares out there, but the thing I would say is don't focus I mean, if you have other softwares like TLO, we'll just throw some out there for those of people that don't know. IDI Core, I first used it, it was trash, but apparently now it's pretty good.
It has definitely gotten much better.
Okay, good. Okay, good. DelvePoint, IDI. Obviously, if you got some money to spend, Clear, LexisNexis, or Accurant, these are good ones too. Accurant is ACC, but it's by LexisNexis. Obviously TLO, but TLO will charge you $50 a month whether you use it or not. Just be aware. The other thing to understand, and so is the reason why you might try some of these other ones, is that each area of the country, these different ones are better. So, for example, in California, TLO has contracts with some of the local utilities. So, for California, TLO works way better than DelvePoint for me. But on the East Coast, DelvePoint has been much more accurate than TLO. So you don't have to have all of these, but you might test them out to see which ones work for you. Now, Reuven, to your question, I would say I kind of want to search them, if you have the information. But what I would say is look it up on the thing and look at the family members. That almost always seems to be the best way to go because family members.
When I looked at the family members, all of them were deceased or on the other side of the country. But I have his name, his address, his last known address, birthday. I know he drives a white Camaro because that's what he has on Facebook, but he's kind of hiding out. He moved out. I just don't know where he's hiding right now.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a catfish profile?
I don't know. I don't do social media anymore.
Do you have a fake profile?
I don't know.
Okay.
Don't have time to even go on social media anymore.
So this is pretty advanced stuff, and I don't know how far we want to go into it, but when it comes to judgment collections and stuff, you want to find somebody and they're willing to pay whatever, having a Facebook account, and you'll get flagged if you don't do it right, but you can actually buy Facebook accounts that are 20 years old, 10 years old. And I'm not going to share that here because I don't want you guys to get in trouble, get mad at me, but you can look it up. Just Google it, Facebook accounts. So what I was saying is I've actually had a lot of fun catfishing guys. So if you find the guy, you get a pretty girl, you create a pretty girl profile and you call him up and you tell him, he says, hey, the key here, man, I don't know how far we want to go into this. But the key is to connect with him in a community setting. So what's really cool is you can look at his Facebook profile, see what groups he's in, join a group that he's in with your fake profile as a pretty girl, go in the group and search his name, see where he's commented before, go down to that comment and reply to the comment. Be like, haha, I was thinking the same thing. Right? Give it a day for him to see the comment and go like, oh, who's this chick? He's going to scroll through he's going to click on it. He's going to scroll through her pretty pictures. And then the next day you message him and say, or you friend request him so you can see everything. And then you tell him, hey, I'd like to, you got to keep the conversation going. You got to keep it going as if you're flirting and stuff. And then eventually he will meet you somewhere and you'll serve him. So that's the catfish method, which is, you better be getting paid some money for that one, if you're going to do that. So, but definitely I have a couple profiles for that. If you need my help, Reuven, let me know. That I love those are fun. So,
okay. Hey, I'm in Orange County too. So,
yeah. Okay.
And I've got TLO. So if you need some help, I've got some other stuff and I can help you.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Perfect. You guys, by the way, go ahead and comment your guys' information in the chat. Or is this on here? Chat. Yeah, comment your information in the chat. Those of you guys don't know where it's at, let me go ahead and comment something here. Mighty Website Builder is my website building company. Right now I'm doing 84% off the setup. It's only $520 and then it's $79 a month. And you got an awesome website with online ordering, with the form that I showed you guys and everything. So, all right, comment your stuff below and connect. Alicia, you can get with Reuven, and Reuven's a go-getter. So I think you guys being in the same area, you guys could really, he's a PI too. So you guys can really connect on that. So good stuff. Do we have any more questions? All right. So sorry Valerie didn't come. She's in a different zip code. Zip code. She's in a different area code. Time zone. Man, it's been a long day. She's in a different time zone, so I think maybe I messed up with the time on her. She might end up showing up in 30 minutes. She's in Central and I'm in Eastern. So you guys, we're doing this every week. Okay. We're doing this every week. We didn't do it last week. I will make up for the software topic that we were supposed to do last week. It's a 10-week mastermind. On week 11, we're going to go into Notary Public. And I know that may not relate to some of you guys, but I'm going to dive into Notary Public, and something that I've been diving into the last 2 months with remote online notary. So you guys can diversify your business and start offering notary services, especially if you can do it from your desk and make $75 or $150. Some of these people charge. And the crazy part about remote online notary is you're able to, again, this is in a few weeks, right? Week 11, we're on week 7 right now. When you're a remote online notary, you can notarize signatures for somebody in California. Like I'm in Florida, I can notarize somebody's signature in California when they're in California. I have to be in Florida, but when they're in California, that's crazy. When I found that out, I said, you mean I can basically notarize for people all over the country while I'm sitting in Florida? If you're a marketer, you understand how marketing works, that's a powerful thing. So, all right, guys, I could drone on all day. I have a podcast interview coming up here in a little bit with some marketing pro, and I'm going to review some websites. So usually you put your company name and your phone number, maybe your email if you want to comment it below. I'll give it some time. You guys comment. Feel free to write each other's information down. The whole idea with the mastermind is you can keep coming back, asking your questions. For me, I try to bring a professional on every week. We had Mike Kern come on a little while back ago, and you get somebody like that. Mike's a pretty humble guy in some respects, but this is a high achieving business owner who, dare I say, multi-million-dollar company in Los Angeles, who came on the meeting and shared tons of value. So go to the YouTube channel, listen to my, basically my interview with Mike. He answered a bunch of great questions, and maybe we'll have Valerie pop in on a future episode, or I'll do a Facebook Live with her or something. But you guys, let me know if you have any questions from here. And let's see. Yeah, there's some chat going on. So definitely want you guys to connect with each other. Those that showed up every week before when we did the mastermind before, they really connected. Mike and Reuven, and we had just the same people almost every single week. Some people, when you can't make it, you can't make it. You're out doing a job, making money. When you can, you show up and you connect further with the people that are on here, and we're going to grow. I mean, my job here is to try to teach you guys as much as I can, sell a couple websites here and there, and we're all happy for it. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Everyone have a safe holiday.
All right. You guys get that information from the chat, and we are going to have a great day. I'm going to go log out, get my podcast interview started. This gentleman review. I believe it's a notary's website. So take care, guys. Be safe.